Hey guys, it's Rebecca. So today I'm just going to be doing the 2 books 1 stone tag. I was tagged by Emily over at Emily Kathleen Reads. I'll leave the link to her channel below so that you can go and check her out and subscribe to her because she's absolutely amazing, and yeah, everybody should go and subscribe to her. There's nothing really else to say, so I'll just get into talking about all of the books. So the first question is the second last book that you read, and for me that was The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. Obviously so many people are talking about this right now, but basically it's about President Snow when he's younger in high school, and him and his classmates have to mentor the tributes from the 10th annual Hunger Games, and it just follows him and the journey of Lucy Greybeard, his tribute throughout the Hunger Games, and just stuff happens from there. I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 stars. I've talked about it a lot already, and it's also going to be in my June wrap up, and I read most of it in May, so I talked about it a bit in my May wrap up, and I'm thinking about doing a review, so I'm not going to talk too much about this, but I did give it 4 stars and I did really enjoy it, definitely. So the next prompt is the second book from the top of your TBR, and for this one I just went on to the ones on my Goodreads, like the ones that I had selected want to read, because I don't know, like my physical TBR is massive and like I didn't know what way to go about this, so yeah, I just went on my want to read list on Goodreads, and the second one there was The Library of the Unwritten by A.J. Hackworth. I'm not entirely sure what this book's about, but I know that it involves hell and I know it involves books. I think it's like banned books or something. I've heard like quite a lot of people talking about it, and I just think it sounds so good, and I like to go in blind, as I always say, so I don't know too much. I just know that it involves like books and hell and things like that, and that just sounds really good to me. So I don't actually have a physical copy, but I'm hoping to get one at some point soon. It's definitely on my wish list, and yeah, and there's just so many things on my wish list at this point, because every time I hear like about a book that I want, I don't only add it to my Goodreads, but I also add it to my wish list, and then it's just getting longer and longer and longer, and it's like I need to buy these. I don't have a copy of it, but I can't wait to get it. So the next prompt is 2-star reads, and for this one, first of all, I picked City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare. I'm not going to give a synopsis for this because everybody knows what it is. It's the second book in the Mortal Instruments series. I just really didn't enjoy it. I thought it was just boring, poorly written, and hadn't very many likeable characters, and the characters that I did like I don't think have much depth. So I already have talked about this in my previous wrap up. Wasn't a fan, but I am thinking about continuing since I have all the books anyway, so why not? So the other book I chose for this prompt is Kim by Rudyard Kipling. The first half of this book I actually really enjoyed. It's basically about this child in India called Kim who ends up following around a Buddhist Lama on a pilgrimage to find what they have prophesized to be some holy river or something they're trying to find. I actually didn't read the last like 60 pages of this because I just physically couldn't get through it. I just thought it was so boring compared to the first half, which I really enjoyed. I thought like it explored Buddhism and English colonialism in India during I think the 1800s, and I did really enjoy that aspect of it, but after that like it just got very repetitive and very boring, and I found it actually quite hard to like keep track of. But apart from that, I did definitely enjoy it. I just think because it has such a lack of plot, and to be honest the characters develop quite early on, so it's actually, you kind of feel like it's not really getting anywhere. But that's just my opinion. I know so many people love Rudyard Kipling, but I did a whole unit on him, and I just have to say I'm definitely not a fan of him just in general. I'm not a fan of his writing at all. I just really don't enjoy it. I just really don't like him. I'm just not a fan. So the next prompt is 2 great books by the same author, and for this I decided to go with Charles Dickens. First of all, David Copperfield by Charles Dickens. Obviously this is about 1,000 pages long, and I read it a good long time ago. I think I was 15 whenever I read it, but I absolutely loved it. This was one of the first classics that I've read, and I'm still like to this day proud that I actually have read David Copperfield, because that's like an actual achievement. You've read this massive book. Like I'm so proud of that, but it's honestly so good and so like entertaining, even though it looks so intimidating. Obviously with a book of this length it does get quite boring, but it's just a masterpiece because it literally follows the entire life of David Copperfield. That's just generally what it is. It just follows him as he's making life decisions, as he grows up, as he's becoming a man. It's comic, it's tragic, and it's just filled with so many different emotions, and it's just beautiful, honestly, and it's just such an achievement. You feel such an achievement when you've read it, and obviously it's absolutely beautifully written, and it just explores so many different themes as it goes through David Copperfield's life. It's just amazing, and if you like character driven books, then 100% pick this up, because I feel like it has to be one of the greatest of all time. If Charles Dickens actually had the ability to write a character throughout his entire life, it is absolutely amazing. So the next book by Charles Dickens that I chose was Great Expectations. This is one of my favourite books of all time. I really want a nicer edition because I absolutely hate my edition of it. This is known to be Charles Dickens's greatest novel, and I haven't actually read anything else by him apart from David Copperfield and The Christmas Carol, which I don't really enjoy that much because the story is just so well known that it was just like boring at that point, and I read it whenever I was like 11 as well, but it's just kind of, you know, whenever you know something so well, you're just like, okay. Basically what this book's about is it follows a young boy named Pip, and he is quite poor. He lives in a poor family, and one day he randomly inherits a fortune, and we aren't sure actually who he's inherited it from, and he basically moves to London, and it follows his experience becoming a gentleman and basically losing track of who he is and what he finds important in life. Basically it just explores that about like what relationships that we should treasure and what relationships really matter, and if material things really matter. I think I definitely got that out of it. It's just so beautifully written. It made me cry so many times. There is some strange bits that are a bit confusing in the novel, but I think that almost supernatural elements that come in every now and then just really takes the story in a different direction. But I think that those moments where the story almost becomes supernatural and strange really drives the story further, because it is so contrasted with Pip's everyday life in London. It's just honestly mind-blowing, and it's really not that long, definitely in comparison to David Copperfield anyway, but I highly recommend this book. Genuinely, I don't talk about it enough on my channel because it's one of my all-time favourites, and I definitely think it's very accessible and very beautifully written and hilarious and sad and just amazing. I love it so much. So the next prompt is 2 bails, or 2 books you wish you'd bailed on, or 2 books you hated. Well, for this one I'm going to choose 2 bails because I don't really talk about these books on my channel really ever, so I wanted to kind of bring in ones into this video that I don't really often talk about. If there's a lot of background noise, like please excuse that, because I'm pretty sure like my brother's practicing his music, and as well like my family are just being so loud downstairs and like they're laughing really loudly and things, so if there's any background noise I'm really sorry about that, but that's just what's happening. But anyway, the first book that I DNF'd was Wayfarer by Alexandra Bracken. This is the second book in the Passenger duology, which is basically a book about time travel. Passenger was like okay. I enjoyed it enough to want to try Wayfarer, but whenever I got like a couple of 100 pages into this book, I just realised like it's really boring, and it completely put me in a reading slump, and I was just like, you know what, I give up. I don't care about the characters, I don't care about the story, and yeah, I gave up. The first book was done a lot better. It probably should have just been put into one book. It probably should have just been a standalone, because I just really didn't care about this book at all, and yeah, I DNF'd it. So the next book that I'm going to talk about that I DNF'd is Never Fade, also by Alexandra Bracken, and I just realised that there was like a definite pattern here. Obviously I must not be a big fan of her. The thing about this book is that I didn't reread The Darkest Minds whenever I went on to this one, and it was a good while after, and I just forgot honestly what even happened in The Darkest Minds, and genuinely all I can tell you now is like children have powers, and the main character cuts her leg shaving once, and that's literally all I can remember, and like people being in a van and a radio coming on or something. That's literally all I have like memories of, like literally that's all I remember, and I have no memories from this book. It just bored me, like, to be honest. I think there's something about Alexandra Bracken's writing that I just don't mix with. I don't know, there's just something that bores me about it, but I don't think she's a bad writer at all. As I said, it just wasn't for me. Basically this trilogy just wasn't for me, even though I did really enjoy The Darkest Minds at the time that I read it. So the next prompt is 2 favourite reads that you have loved so far this year. For this I picked 2 out of the same series, and that is Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight by Sarah J Maas. Oh my god, I just love these so much. Like, I am loving these books. Like, I know I said all the time, but why did I leave this so long to read these? I love these books with all of my heart, and the best decision that I've made so far this year is to read these books because I am absolutely loving them, and I am 150 pages from finishing Wayfarer and I can't wait to see what happens, and I already have Queen of Shadows waiting for me to read, and I'm just so excited, honestly. So the next question is 2 favourite new booktubers that you enjoy. So for this I'm going to pick Carah from Books with Carah. She's like quite a small booktuber, but I found her recently and I just watch every single one of her videos. Like, I never miss one. I absolutely love watching her. She's just so happy, she's so bubbly, and she reads quite similar things to what I enjoy, and yeah, I just have been loving her channel. So I'll link that obviously in the description and you can go and check her out and subscribe to her because she's absolutely amazing. And the second booktuber that I'm going to talk about is Emily over at Emily Kathleen Reads. We recently did a collab that's actually going to be my last upload, so I'll link that above and you can go and check that video out. I'll also leave her channel in the description. She's absolutely amazing and you need to go and check out her channel because she deserves so many more subscribers. She's another small booktuber, but she's literally like my best friend on booktube now and she's amazing, so definitely go and check her channel out. She's absolutely amazing. So the next prompt is a book you've read twice, and that is Beautiful Creatures by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stowe. I absolutely loved the Beautiful Creatures series whenever I was younger. Oh my god, I loved them so much. I read it again in like 2018 I think, and I absolutely love rereading it. Like, I know it's such an unpopular opinion to love this book, but I just love it so much. I just think it's so much fun, and I know it's not like a masterpiece or incredibly well written, but it was one of the first series that I loved, like just after the Hunger Games, and I just love it so much. I can't forget about it and I'll just always love this book. I can't help it. I love the characters and I love the series so much. Basically, if you don't know, this book follows a character called Ethan Waite and he meets a new girl and strange things start to happen when she's around, and there's witches and there's magic and it's quite fun. I really enjoy it. It's so good. I just love it so much. So the next prompt is 2 fabulous quotes from 2 books you've read recently. So the first quote I'm going to talk about is one from Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. I don't have a copy of this book with me, but I read this book a few months ago and I absolutely loved it. I absolutely love Virginia Woolf. It's such an amazingly well written novel and there's so many beautiful quotes in it. So I don't actually have a physical copy right now of Mrs. Dalloway alone. I've got my Norton English Literature edition with me, like my post 1900s collection. So I just had a look through Mrs. Dalloway, all of the tabs that I had made and my annotations, and just picked out a quote that I really enjoyed. There's so many beautiful quotes in that book because it's so beautifully written and I just love Virginia Woolf so much, as I said. So I just picked a random one, but there's definitely so many more and you should definitely go and read that book. So the quote that I chose was, "He woke with extreme suddenness, saying to himself, the death of the soul." I don't know why, I just love that and it just really sets up the entire novel. And then the other book that I chose is actually Crown of Midnight. I actually just had a quick think about this question because I feel like I haven't read a lot of books recently that have like nice quotes or anything in them. So I just picked one from Crown of Midnight, of course, and I chose, "The gods care no more for our lives than we care for an insect beneath our feet." I really like that. I just think that's a really interesting way to look at it. I just really like that. I don't know, I just thought that was really interesting. Yeah, I just really enjoyed that quote. I don't know why. So I had tabbed that and it was like the only thing that I tabbed in the entire book because I don't annotate my editions of like Crown of Midnight or anything anymore, or my Throne of Glass books, sorry. I don't annotate them really because I just like to sit down and enjoy them, and so many people have written reviews on them. I don't really need to write a written one. So the last prompt is tag a number of booktubers that must be divisible by 2. So I chose to tag 4 booktubers because I'm not sure who's done this tag and he hasn't, so I thought it'd be better just to tag 4 people so at least one person will hopefully not have done it before. So first of all, I tag Lily from Lily Eleanor Reads. I'm sorry if I've already done this tag, but I'm just giving you a tag anyway. I'm also going to tag Jasmine over at Jasmine Reads, Kaz from Cats and Camera, and Clem over at Clem's Book Corner. I'll leave their channels down below because they're all amazing, and go and check their channels out because they're just amazing and I love them all so much. So go and check their channels out and definitely subscribe to them because you'll love them. So that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed watching. I kind of tried to go through the books quicker than I usually do because I know I always ramble on. But anyway, if you did enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and leave a comment below if you have read any of these books or if you're hoping to read them or anything else that you might want to talk to me about, because you know, this is why I have my channel. I love to talk to people about books and the books that I talk about. So you can also find my social media links down in the description links to my Twitter, Goodreads and other social media that I have. That's all for this video. I really hope you enjoyed watching and I will see you in the next one.